I hope this is, yeah, okay. Now the live shows, and I can, now the live shows, and I can adjust a little bit. There we go. This is the first time I'm doing this here. I'm on my desktop because my laptop screen went out. And I've had to readjust. I haven't been on this desktop for years, for years, 4 years probably, or five. And it's a whole new thing. But let me get to what I really want to share today because it is all over me. This will be part of my Tell It Like It Is playlist on my YouTube channel, Sandra Allen Lovelace. And it's because that playlist is about what life is really like. And for me, what life is really like when you have a lot of trauma that you carry. And yet, in the recovery process for trauma, what's really going on is transformation. And the awareness of that, as I like to say, is awareness is God's invitation to new life. New life. Jesus is the giver of new life. Transformational life. That's what Jesus offers. And this recent experience with trauma was so powerful and so revealing of really what this journey, transformation journey, is all about. I believe it's really the core value of it, the core goal of it, maybe core value and ultimate goal. How's that? Let me get into the situation, the episode. It is about the laptop screen. I'm just praying it is the screen. It's been flashing and so on for months. And I knew I needed to get it looked at. Now God's decided this is the time, clearly. And it's also the time for me to renew my presence here on the desktop. I had a great morning yesterday. Actually, the day before was also a good time where I got into the manuscript I'm working on about trauma, the gospel and you. And I was excited. I took a break and got some errands done, came back and opened the laptop to get back to work again. And the screen, no, it didn't go black. It had sort of a light overall little tiny squares all across the whole screen, and then black and white, and then just a little screen that had color in it. And there wasn't anything I could do. I tried to click on that. I tried to whatever, nothing. Closed it, opened it again, nothing. All right, I need help. Now look, that's a perfect illustration of trauma, first of all, but also a trigger to past experiences, interactions with trauma. And I'm working on my vocabulary. Now look, I've had so much trauma in my past that all kinds of things can trigger it and bring those emotions back up. I am working, have been these last number of years, to process. Well, there's beginning things you need to do. That doesn't just happen. You can talk your way through past incidents and understand things and get strategies to deal with that and so on. But the true healing is not quite just a top-down thing. It also includes a bottom-up approach, which is getting the body involved in the process. You really need both. And of course, the spiritual aspect, which is why my work is mind, body, spirit, all three. What happened was, let me just explain it to you. Maybe you can relate it to your own experiences. I was all excited, moving forward. This book is going to be great. It's going to be very helpful and encouraging to women. And I was ready. I stepped over and opened the laptop, and I can't do what I need to do. I can't do what I want to do. I can't get at what I intended to do. Can't control it. There's absolutely nothing I can do. And it's a threatening thing to my hopes and dreams. Maybe not my physical life, you might think, but because of my past, yes, it is connected to my physical life. I grew up in such alcoholism and violence and neglect that I really did think from the time I was just a little kid that I was going to die. And so that some of that level, not all of it, because I've really processed a lot of that, but that sort of an emotional reaction was there. Oh no, what am I ever going to do? And when that happens, when trauma comes in, maybe it happened to you in all this virus stuff. Maybe life was going on and you felt like things were grand, and then all of a sudden, something about the virus, and what am I ever going to do? What about the future? Am I going to make it through this stuff? Even maybe there's other things even further back that also were triggered for you. Let me just say, as time's gone on in this healing journey, I've noticed that I'm becoming more and more aware of these signals sooner. They're becoming more obvious to me, even though I understood them intellectually for a long time. Being in the midst, it's really coming to the forefront. What am I ever going to do? I didn't have the overwhelming fear, but the question, what am I ever going to do? I have to do something. And since I don't use this desktop very much, haven't for years, that did not jump into my mind. Say, I'm going to have to get to the Apple store. I'm pretty sure it needs a new screen because I had the screen replaced in the past. And I think there's a connection I'm praying. The connection there was wiggly. I thought about that. Well, that's adding all those things to my life. I have a busy life. I have commitments I have to meet, and the book and courses and groups and travel. I've been invited to Bulgaria. Anyway, look, there was a big overload, stuff coming in so fast, which is a great description of trauma. Too much, too fast. Or, as in my earlier life, too little for too long. So there I was in stress mode, climbing up to survival mode. So the fight or flight was real. Although, once again, I wasn't having heart palpitations. I wasn't screaming, me, panicking, if you know what I mean. But there I was, and I needed to solve what was going on. At the same time, I noticed one of the early steps is that your body's automatic response to those kinds of situations are to send all resources, cortisol, adrenaline, so on, to your arms and legs for that fight or flight. Well, I didn't know where I was going to flee to, but fight or flight response. And so the decision-making part of the brain is not really necessary at that point. It not digestion, not oh dear, not digestion, everything disappeared. Not, it's back. Not other things. I don't need to worry about, did I brush my teeth last night? I need to stay alive. I need to deal with this crash screen. What am I going to do? What I did was, I said, aha, what's happening is that fog, that veil, that screen is dropping. I can't let that happen. Wait a minute. And so I pushed my brain to consider what I needed to do. I'm going to have to get to the Apple store. How am I ever going to do that? I cannot get an Apple store appointment on my phone. You don't call them. And I couldn't look up on here what the number was on my laptop. What am I say, go, I'll use Safari on my phone and I'll see what I can do. So I did that and I typed in Apple support. Though look, that happened fairly quickly. That is a complete growth marker evidence that the neural pathways that in the olden days were really deep ruts. Any kind of a threat, even what you might or I might now call a minimal threat, went right into a deep rut all the way up to I'm going to die. And to get the prefrontal cortex, my thinking brain working again, used to take, okay, I'll admit, weeks, probably even sometimes months over certain things. And then it got shorter and shorter, maybe even days. Well, I didn't have that kind of time to play around with. And so I just said, okay, Sandra, what are you going to do? Let's Apple support. Okay, Apple support. I got Apple support on my phone. I'm not even sure how that happened. And was talking to them and so on. And then I got them to help me make an appointment. That was the first thing. Make an appointment I'm just trying to remember. Make an appointment at the Apple store. And that was fine. That was wonderful, actually. I'm still just on my phone, though, but at least it's a human being. Thank the Lord, Apple support provides human beings to talk to. And so I got the appointment, but it is until Friday afternoon. And this was yesterday, earlier in the day. Oh no, what am I going to do now? And so I said, well, wait a minute. And I pulled all the sticky notes off my desktop screen, confession, and moved them away and turned this on. I said, now, is there any possible way that you could also help me? Because, they have categories, and I had chosen my laptop for help. Is there any way you can help me get my desktop functioning? Yes. And so I won't drag it out too long, but I just want you to know this is what happened, that because I realized, because I recognized that fog. Now look, there are common things that happen in everybody's body when danger is in front of you, but it might appear a little differently for each of us. And that's why you need to know you. It's time to be you from the inside, authentic, the way God designed you, all the way out to explore and enjoy your purpose. And because of that, I recognized some things. And even when I was talking with the guy, the Apple support guy, I was saying things and talking through. I said, look, I just need to explain that I hadn't been on my desktop for all this time and I need help. And he did say, so I checked with myself, I didn't want to overstep my bounds. He said, oh yes, I can help you with the desktop as well. And then as we went along, little things like that I needed to communicate what was going on inside me in order to be able to function in the factual stuff. And I would talk out loud. Okay, now I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on that. We had to go through all kinds of password gymnastics. I had my 5 pages of passwords. We discovered there's 2 Google accounts, not sure why, et cetera, et cetera. And so we got all that stuff. This is up and running, so at least I knew I could get on Facebook and I can get my email. My email, I have 3 different email addresses, and therefore we needed to work on that too. There was all the intellectual stimulation to get that prefrontal cortex. In the meantime, I was telling myself, this is okay, we're going to work this out. I believe the way it happened was the minute I knew that the appointment was set up at the Genius Bar at the Apple Store, okay, when I get there, we're going to get this sorted out. Oh yes, then there was the concern I don't want to say fear because it didn't grab me, but there was the concern. Wait a minute, when was the last time I backed up? Oh, yes, I backed up on Monday. All right, good. Oh, wait a minute. There are 2 full days of work on my manuscript that's sitting really on the desktop of my laptop. Well, I have the backup. I did plug it in and run it again. I don't know if it worked or not. But even so, it was just amazing. I'll get back to that in a minute. And I finished the call with the Apple support person. I had the basics of being able to function on my computer for 3 days, but I suspect, even if it is just the screen, they're going to need to keep my laptop. So my manuscript, I don't know when I'll be available to me again. But here I am. This is where I am. And I said, thank the guy profusely about this and this and this, the various things he helped me with, and I've given a nice positive reply. Oh yes, he also got me started on upgrading this desktop that was way back in a previous operating system, and now I'm all the way up, I think, to Monterey. I know there's still 2 or 3 more to go, but I'm functioning now, so I'll just wait. Now look, I was able to pause right after all of that. Probably took a little over an hour, but there was the trauma, impact, the history, the echoing, all going on during that time, but I functioned well through it all, especially for a little old lady. I'm going to sneeze. Especially for a little old lady. Then I started to realize, I thought about it. I said, well, whatever happens, even if they take the laptop and it's gone for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, I can function here. Yeah, but what if all of what if it probably is gone? You don't know what you're going to do. That's the old Sandra response. Instead, I was saying, well, you know what? I had rethought something, the angle that I was coming at the material I had just written about the last 2 days. And I thought, well, I was going to change the angle of it anyway. So it's going to be all right. And, I have been thinking I should get this laptop up and running again because I'm seriously into this new manuscript. And that was the whole purpose that I bought the desktop, because I want my writing on here where it's going to back up. I need to write that on my list. Regular backup. That I have a whole list started now. To be able to keep my manuscript here and safe where other people, outside people, can't get in here. Also because it provides me an opportunity to train my body. Okay, when I sit down here at the desktop, time to get into the manuscript, which is, since it's all about trauma, it's not the easiest thing to just get back into where I was in the process. And I realized, Sandra, my body recognized I had done all the things that I could do up to that point. I had the appointment. I got things so that I could function on the internet. And my body was calm. I wasn't panic stricken. I hadn't really been. It was surprising to the nth degree, let's just say to the nth degree, because I realized in all of that what I was saying to God was, Lord, I'm really thankful for where you brought me. And that entire process got me to the point, not just that I simply recognized the trauma signals, although that's important skills, that I could figure out, okay, this is from the past. I am not going to die, and my body's not feeling that. Oh, wow. Not only that, but I don't need to panic about next step, next step, next step. I've done what I can do for now, and God is working out the future. Clearly, my idea about getting back on the desktop and be comfortable and up and running here needed to happen sooner than what I thought. And I just I laughed at that and said, okay, God, I guess this was your plan all along. I think I did that right after, yes, right after I asked the guy, could you help me get my desktop working too and current as it could be? And when he said, oh yes, I can cover that as well, I said, okay, God, I think you decided I needed to do this sooner than what I thought. And maybe even the mess up with the screen on my laptop is your pointing me in that direction, making it so that I definitely will get back onto the desktop. I don't know. I don't know if you can sense the difference, isn't the right word, extravagant difference, the unimaginable difference from a woman who, if she misplaced something and couldn't find it in the first 5 minutes, she was sure she was going to die. And that here I am, not only that I recognize the trauma stuff, that the tools that I have, that I've worked out for myself, but I can share with you and help you find your specifics too, and continue on and function, not in an artificial plastic way, but it very authentically make my way, laugh about it, that, oh, this other little dynamic, maybe that's maybe this is the reason that God set that in my path, that little crashed laptop screen. Right in the middle. Not 5 years down the road, or 3 or 2 or 6 weeks or whatever, but right in the middle. I was trusting God, even though it wasn't a fun thing. It's easier to trust God when somebody gives you a big check, right? Or you go to grab a hold of something and realize it's not the thing you need, or whatever. That was a bad example. And the reason I feel like I needed to get on here today, even though it's a brand new process, I'm even looking at a different screen and I don't even know how it's going. But look, I want you to understand very clearly, because I started these lives a couple of years ago, whatever it was, because God said to share on the cutting edge of my journey. And that's what I'm doing. I want you to tell it like it is. That was where that title came from. Tell what trauma is like, but more importantly, what the transformation journey is like. And I want you to know it's about a lot more than the toolbox that I can share, about the skills that you can learn, about information for the mind, about connections with your body to unify it there, and the spirit to enrich and deepen the spiritual aspect of your life, so that you can love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. As Jesus said, with all your mind, with all your body, with all your, well, anyway, that's what I say. Your mind, your body, your spirit. I don't have those things memorized. And so that's what I came on to tell you. That the results are bigger. The goal is greater. God's plan for where he's taking me, where he's taking you, is a journey that is unimaginable in its joy and in its peace. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Maybe I'll even write a blog about it, I'm not sure, but I'm going to conclude this now, and I hope to get it. I hope it's saved and it will be up there. What's the title that I wrote? No comments yet. It said comments are really good. They're really helpful. Once this gets to YouTube in the Tell It Like It Is place of playlist, like, share, comment if you think it's valuable, so other women will know, because that's how they decide if it's helpful or not. Right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.